A pretty girl who stinks is so funny because I'll be going out, right? And dudes will come up to talk to me and then they just walk away. They don't even get to the first line. They just walk away. A pretty girl who stinks is so funny because I'll be going out, right? And dudes will come up to talk to me and then they just walk away. They don't even get to the first line. They just walk away.
All right. I'll bite. One, you're not that pretty. Let's take a step back here. You're not that pretty. You're a 5 at best, and the nose ring brings it down a notch, right? What you are is a non-fat, right? You're non-fat who, I mean, you're literally almost naked in this video. I mean, you're literally wearing a bra. You're wearing a bra like it's clothes. So yeah, you're a non-fat in a bra. So pretty is definitely relative here. I mean, yeah, you're skinny, you got washboard abs, but whatever's going on with the face. And again, I say this as an ugly person. It takes one to know one. Yeah, no, you're not that pretty. And if you stink, like it's really partly your attitude that stinks. I mean, look, let me tell you, let me give a little anecdote here. Just today, just today, I happened to notice as I was driving through town, there was a woman who she was a fat. Let's be honest here. She wasn't enormous. She was chubby. She pleasantly plump, if you will. She was chubby. And she had her hair done up real nice in like pigtail braids, like very cutesy, very youth like. I mean, clearly it was a woman in her late 20s, early 30s. Um Brown skin. I don't know if she was African American or just, but she had a moderately attractive face. I mean, slightly better than this lady's face actually. Better than this lady's face slightly. But like I said, she was not white and she was chubby. So take of that what you will. She was, in my opinion, more attractive than this person, but she was a fat. So I mean that kind of balances things out a bit. Anyway, so she's there and she's wearing a similar outfit, very similar outfit to this. Hair and pigtail, sucking on a lollipop on the street corner. First thing I thought to myself is she knows exactly what she's doing and she's going to be approached within the next 5 minutes. I turned my head to look at something else, and by the time I turned back, there were two dudes standing next to her, talking her up. So, I mean, again, you call yourself a pretty girl here, pretty girl here, but really, the standard for what's pretty in the United States is literally just being in public, wearing not a lot of clothing, and looking available, right? And so, you could choose to put on more clothes and look more unavailable. I mean, we remember 2 weeks ago the video on the train of Irina Zarutska. She had on a ball cap and was kind of very dressed down, like she didn't want attention. You could choose that, but you choose this. You choose this, and then call yourself a pretty girl. Yeah, I think that's pretty sus. And this idea that the only way you can repel men is by having poor hygiene. I mean, if that's your gig, go for it. Go for it. I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate. It's just a choice. Anyway, folks, welcome to Miles Culture Plate. I'm your host, Miles Kevin Miles. It is Wednesday, September 17th. Happy Constitution Day, everybody. I'm not sure you can hear that, but if you can, I tried to push a button. It doesn't always work. Happy Constitution Day, everybody. And we'll get into we'll you know what? Let's go ahead and do our Constitution Day ritual here. All right. So, folks, if you remember, it's been a few hundred years. Hey, we got Cyrene Pickle in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Happy Constitution Day. Damn it, that I just dropped. I dropped a piece of gum on my floor. I didn't have my waste baskets missing out of my office. I think I removed it to take the trash out. But all right, so let's do this. Let's do our Constitution Day ritual, and then we'll get into some news stories. We'll get into the stuff of the week. But first, let's do this. So every Constitution Day or abouts, I try to remember. One of my favorite Schoolhouse Rock songs was the preamble, and it's important that everyone memorize the preamble to the Constitution. So I like to bring it up. I like to bring it up every Constitution Day on my stream. So, and we do things casual now on Miles Culture Plate. So let's go ahead and knock that out of the way first because, yeah, we have to celebrate. This nation may have been born on July 4th, 1776, but everything that happened in 1787 was just as important. So let's get on with that.
Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution? Hey, learn about the USA. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers did agree to write a list of principles for keeping people free. The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country. And so our people spelled it out, the things that we should be. And they put those principles down on paper and called it the Constitution. And it's been helping us run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution is called the preamble.
So, I mean, obviously, everything here should have learned in grade school. Do kids still learn this shit in grade school at all? Like, is civics even remotely a thing in elementary schools now? Anyway, back to Schoolhouse Rock.
And tells what those founding fathers set out to do. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense.
Boy, we're going to get into a lot of stories here about our domestic tranquility, and wouldn't it be nice if we had a little bit more of that lately? But again, don't necessarily need a full-on government or the Constitution for that. People just need to cool their jets. Anyway.
For the common defense, promote the general welfare at hand, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the...
I got Billdozer74 in the chat over on Rumble. I've got sound effects coming for y'all. Thank you for stopping by, Billdozer. Cheers and welcome. Cheers, my friend.
United States of America. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers all sat down and wrote a list of principles that's known the world around. The USA was just starting out a
soon, then we're going to have to do the edit to add Canada there.
Spelled it out. They wanted a land of liberty. And the preamble goes like this. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, hopefully y'all were singing along.
United States of America.
All right, a little karaoke to kick off the show here on a Wednesday. Oh, no, wait, what the hell is this? Gene Autry. No, wasn't trying to do that. I accidentally clicked skip forward instead of pause button there. All right, so let's get into some serious things. Yeah, Constitution. Constitution, a very important document. You may be aware that we always tend to talk about the Constitution here on Miles Culture Plate. And you may be aware that there is I still owe Cyrene Pickle and Billdozer some sound effects. Let's give Billdozer some Careless Whisper for all the love he's showing to us lately. All right. And let's give a good foghorn to Cyrene Pickle. All right. Good seeing you both in the chat. So yeah, the Constitution, and I'm not going to belabor this next point, but Constitution is a very important document, and part of the Constitution is the First Amendment of the United States, and as such, it's important, especially when our nation has seen tragedy recently, that we maintain our principles in the face of adversity, and we point the anger where it belongs, that we respond to the threat directly and not with a grenade that blows ourselves up. That we don't respond to the threat like we did after 9/11 by giving our government unchecked power, by giving our government the permission to ruin our country. Hey, we got Kevin and ABQ in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. As such, I'm going to be addressing the recent controversy around Pam Bondi and the recent comments she has made. Anyway, let's give Kevin and ABQ a sound effect here. Let's give him the old Donald Trump thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
All right. Good seeing you. All right. So let's do it. I'm sure you've seen it on every other podcast you've listened to over the last 2 days, but we're going to get into Pam Bondi just a little bit.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle. There's free.
Okay, so we definitely need, yes, Cyrene Pickle in the chat, hate speech isn't a thing. And that's definitely why I made this stream when I did. The idea that mere days after the Kirk assassination and mere days before Constitution Day here in the United States, And yes, Irene Pickle, why is she using lefty language? I've been calling for the resignation of Pam Bondi for some time now over the Epstein debacle, over her continuous misspeaking and just bad PR. And I outside of what she's been doing on Fox News and these podcasts and her press conferences, I really don't know what all Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice has accomplished. I do know that Kash Patel, Dan Bongino are always posting about the successes that they've had in, capturing violent criminals and pedophiles, and they're always patting themselves on the back. But I want to know day in, day out, not necessarily every single situation, but like let me know the jail time. We're now, 9 months into this administration. It's time. It's time to tell us what you've been doing. Quite frankly, we were promised arrests. And now, instead of arresting our enemies, instead of holding the candle to people, right? Holding the fire, you come out and tell us basically, yeah, it's a hate speech thing. Hate speech doesn't exist. And Bill Dozer said, yeah, Charlie would hate this. Yeah, you don't invoke Charlie Kirk's name. Let me be very clear. When she says targeting with hate speech, the lefty language. Kevin ABQ, to borrow from the Bobs, what exactly is it that you do here? This is where I'm going with it, though. Lefty language. We elected the Trump administration to save us from this kind of language. This idea that targeting with hate speech, like there's no such thing. There's no such thing as targeting, and there's no such thing as hate speech. Now, I'm going to take a step back with the idea of targeting. You can definitely target people with speech. You can harass people. You can threaten people. But those are verbs within themselves. You don't need the word targeting. You targeted me with harassment. No, I harassed you. There's no such thing as targeting with hate speech. Cyrene Pickle says, Harmeet Dillon, the assistant AG, is excellent. Can't figure out what Pam is doing except self-promotion. Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't see this clip from Tucker Carlson. Let's check it out. It's a couple minutes long. I do know that she did come out and say, no, I'm talking about hate speech that leads to violence, which is still abhorrent. You're still using that term, hate speech. Let's be honest. That hate speech term was coined by the censorious left and the pro-Israeli right, the uniparty, essentially. And look, if you're pro-Israeli, I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying that there's definitely the mainstream left and right tend to agree with our foreign policy position toward the nation of Israel. And again, they like to push this anti-Semitism narrative the same way the left pushes the feminism and DEI, the race baiting. Cyrene Pickle says she should have said incitement. No, because I firmly believe she did not mean incitement. And you also have to be careful about that incitement word, right? Because the definition of it is drifting as well. The far left definitely like to use incitement to harassment and stuff like that. No, violence is violence. And you can call for threats to violence. You can call for violence, you can threaten violence, or you can commit violence. Those are the three crimes. This incitement to violence. Well, yeah, if you're in a crowd, if you're in a riot and you say go get him, that's one thing. Or if you did what Hassan Piker we were talking about the other day, if you do what Hassan Piker has been doing, that's also, you're telling a crowd, hey, we need to go do these kinds of things to these specific people. And if that's what she's talking about, sure, but clarify. Anyway, let's check out this Tucker Carlson, because I didn't see the Tucker Carlson thing. It'd be interesting. Let me see my reaction to it. Tucker Carlson's been kind of whiffy-waffy for me recently. There's been a lot of things he said that's just kind of been like, what? But let's see where he is on this, because I have a feeling he's Darth Hideous says, ninja flag it retards. Yep, hate my speech. And yes, I'm on YouTube and X right now, so I'm going to be careful saying those words. But yeah, N-word, F-slur, retards. Yep. All right, so let's get to Tucker Carlson here.
United States telling you that there is this other category called hate speech, and of course the implication is that's a crime. There's almost no sentence that Charlie Kirk, and I'm not running the risk of appropriating his memory for my own ends by saying this, it's provable. There's no sentence that Charlie Kirk would have objected to more than that. And you've got to think the Attorney General didn't think it through and was not attempting to desecrate the memory of the person she was purporting to celebrate, that she just threw that out there, that she hadn't thought about it. You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by...
Hey, Darth Hideous. I've been saying teetrards lately. Teetrards.
A group we now call bad actors, to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his views. And by the way, that thinking, and not to pile on the Attorney General, who's a very nice person, but that thinking that she just articulated on camera there is exactly what got us to a place where some huge and horrifying percentage of young people think it's okay to shoot people you disagree with, to kill Nazis for saying things they don't like. Why do they believe that? How did we get here? Is it the video games? Is it the SSRIs? Yeah, probably. But what it really is 12 and then 16 years of indoctrination in our schools at the hands of people who tell them that, who say exactly what the Attorney General just said. Well, there's free speech, which of course we all acknowledge is important, so important. But then there's this thing called hate speech. Hate speech, of course, is any speech that the people in power hate, but they don't define it that way. They define it as speech that hurts people, speech that is tantamount to violence. And we punish violence, don't we? Of course we do.
Yeah, we already have laws for that shit.
They've been taught that every year of their lives. And so naturally, most of them believe it. So when Charlie Kirk is shot in the throat with a 30-06 on camera, I doubt very many young Americans want to see something like that or actually applaud the death of a man, a father, a husband. But they've been told for their entire lives in schools exactly what Pam Bondi just told them. Well, there's free speech, but then there's also hate speech, and woe to those who engage in it because it's a crime.
Okay, so look, I've heard some people say that over the last week that we need to round up leftists and ask them all, is Donald Trump Adolf Hitler? And anyone who says yes, or arrest them for threatening violence. I don't necessarily agree with that, but there's a point to be made there, right? In that, when in the United States, you learn at a very young age, very, very young age. We used to teach our children that the devil is bad. The devil is evil. That all the bad things come from the devil. That Satan is trying to brainwash our children. And that Satan is trying to makes teenagers do bad things. That's all Satan. We used to do that in this country. Then sometime in the 20th century, Satan got replaced with Adolf Hitler. By the way, cheers to Bill Dozer. Thank you for the repost. Cheers to that. At some point, Satan got replaced with Adolf Hitler. And we started really, really indoctrinating our children on how bad Nazis are, how bad racists are, how bad. And look, I don't disagree. But instead of focusing on demons and devils and the real hate that lives among us, we've been told Mustache Man and white supremacists and racism is worse than literal murder, is worse than sexually assaulting children. Why? Because racism and Nazism leads to things like eugenics and Holocaust and empires that wage war throughout Europe. That's the kind of ideology that takes over not just nations, but tries to take over the world. And so we get beat with this Hitler Nazi over the head at a very young age in the United States, where by the time we're all teenagers, yeah, you can ask us the question, if you had a time machine, would you go back and baby Hitler? Would you baby Hitler? And, most of us would say yes. Most of us would say yes. It is a rational, normal thing to say in the United States that, yes, I would attempt to Hitler if I could have. And Darth Hideous says, I'd never kill a baby. I'm not an effing monster. Yeah. But again, when we're told that, and look, I'm not trying to make light of Adolf Hitler. He was a dictator. He instituted some of the worst totalitarian laws over his own people. He instituted control. I believe in free speech. I believe in a free society. I reject fascism. But most common Americans would say, yes, you reject fascism to the point where you would literally murder babies. And this is where we're at in 2025, is somewhere along the way, the narrative shifted from Adolf Hitler creating a Nazi youth indoctrination camp, taking over the media of Germany to only distribute propaganda, militarizing society, spreading an empire throughout Europe, and committing literal eugenics and genocide. We reserved the term Nazi and fascism for those individuals. But somewhere in my lifetime, the word fascist became interchangeable with far right. And then in the last 10 to 15 years, far right became interchangeable with MAGA. MAGA became interchangeable with anyone who's not far left, pro abortion, pro trans, pro gay marriage, pro immigrant, and anti Christian, anti heteronormativity. Like you had to be far left, or now you're all of the listed above things, and they were all interchangeable, including the word Nazi and fascist. Like all of those things meant the same thing now. Now, if you're to the right of Stalin, if you're to the right of Mao, you're automatically the worst fascist, totalitarian, evil that has ever existed on Earth. And now it's just as important to take action against your life than it would be to get in a time machine, go back and stop Hitler before he could spread his horrors across Europe. Yeah. Darth Idiot says far right became anything the establishment disagrees with. Exactly. Kevin ABQ, those making that wish doesn't realize that someone more competent might have led that movement instead. Be careful what you wish for. I mean, is that not where we're at in 2025? I think that's their biggest fear. I think their fear is, right or wrong or misguided or whatever, the same fear we conservatives had in 2008. Barack Obama wins by a landslide. They start making posters of him looking like a literal saint. They start worshiping him like a god. And now, right wingers, a certain segment of right wingers are putting Donald J. Trump on that pedestal. And we have to be careful. We definitely have to be careful. And that's why I'm calling out Pam Bondi here. Because everything Tucker Carlson said just now was the truth. Let's go back. Let's go back to that Obama administration. Obama had an advisor, Rahm Emanuel. The most important quote of the Obama administration.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Okay, so there's that. You never let a good crisis go to waste. Utilize that crisis to do the things you thought you could not do before. Is that what we're seeing with Pam Bondi? Charlie Kirk's death has now given the right wing a certain amount of political capital, a certain amount of support that they didn't previously have, and they're going to utilize that crisis to seize more power, to shift the playing field, to shift the Overton window, if you will. Now, look, I'm all for conservatives having an advantage over the nut jobs I was just talking about. Darth Idiot says that's how government works literally every time. Yeah. Not letting a good tragedy go to waste, both sides. Yeah. The more blood, the better sometimes. And, we're bombarded. We're bombarded with horrific stories. And I have to say, Pam Bondi, fuck off. Fuck off. If you meant threats, you would have said threats. We seen right through your bullshit. Back off. If you want to come out tomorrow and say, no, I'm talking about Antifa and the trans shooters, like those people, we're going to be doing a little deeper dive into the Fed networks, the Fed bait Discord chats and Fed bait Reddit posts. We're going to be doing a deeper dive to see what kind of organized terrorist groups are being formed in the name of Antifa and Trantifa to make sure things like the Charlie Kirk memorials go off without a hitch, without violent counter protest, without Molotov cocktails. Oh, by the way, speaking of, did you see the Babylon Bee? Let me find this real quick. This was great. I fucking love this. Democrats confused after seeing conservatives hold weird Molotov cocktails that never explode. And it's prayer vigil candles. We both know she's talking about anyone critical of our dearest ally, Israel. Yeah, that's specifically why I mentioned the pro-Israel right wing earlier, because you definitely know that this is one of the aspects of the Trump administration is their, they're saying that they support free speech, but then when it comes to anti-Semitism, they seem to be cracking down really hard on anyone who's critical of the state of Israel and the actions that they are taking in their current conflict. Yeah, I'm willing to say it. It really, really, really sounds like that's what Pam Bondi's talking about. She may have mentioned Charlie Kirk, but there's a bigger narrative here, and I don't know the context. I don't know the questions before and after in that podcast. Kevin at ABQ, not to be donated all their extra income from views last week to the Kirk family. Yeah. I mean, look, Seth Dillon may be pro-Zionist, but I also believe that he's right on the money about certain things. And that's the crazy thing about the Israel divide amongst conservatives. We can agree to disagree on this one issue and not automatically call each other leftists and commies and want to firebomb each other. Which is, you're not going to see that kind of unification on the left. All right. Well, let me back up and see if I can find. See, Matt Walsh. Between this hate speech nonsense and Epstein, Pam Bondi has committed two of the most egregious errors we've ever seen from an attorney general. How many seismic fuck-ups will Trump permit her before he cuts her loose? This is a 10 strikes you're out deal or what? I mean, it's time. It's literally time. Pam Bondi's got to go. Multiple fuck ups on Epstein, and now this. Like the only thing I think that could or should save her job is if she comes out tomorrow and say, I misspoke, which she's already done. She's already said I misspoke. I meant threats, but no, she needs to clarify who she's talking about targeting with the targeting. Darth Idiot says, that's what you think, Mild. But according to the left, if you disagree with me, that means I can kill you. That's our new social standard now. So you're not disagreeing with me, are you? I mean, I'm actually not. I mean, that is the standard. And I think I showed you on this show my tweet last week. Let me see if I can find it. Here's my tweet. Here's my tweet in response to what's going on with the Charlie Kirk stuff. The left, your words should get you fired. It's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture. And then the right wing, your words shouldn't get you fired. The left wing responds with, your words should get you killed. The right wing, I guess you moved the Overton window. Okay, your words should get you fired. The left wing, hey, this is unfair. Yeah, you know, when you move the Overton window, when you move the accepted playing field, you have to adapt. People will adapt. You know, a lot of people forget that at the time of the Revolutionary War, most war was fought by people marching in a line with guns pointed across a field at another army marching in a line. And at some point between the 18th century and now, war evolved. The rules of engagement evolved. The tactics had to evolve. And so then you had Vietnam, where people were hiding in mud pits in the jungle, using stealth to take out each other. Dear Sarge, cheers and welcome, my friend. Good seeing you in the chat. Thank you for stopping by over on Rumble. Let me give you the Windows XP. Okay, but now my chat went haywire. So yeah, you've got to evolve. I mean, this idea that, well, your principles mean you can't use our tactics. You want to fucking bet. You want to fucking bet left. You want to play that game, left wingers. You think you know what our principles are? Our principles apply to the civilized principled people in our society. And if you show yourselves to be barbarians, we can become barbarians temporarily to restore civilization. LB Weaver in the chat. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. Did I get a raid that I missed? All of a sudden my viewership kind of bumped up for a second. Still don't have any Rumble ads available, which is weird. Okay, but as I was saying, yeah, you got to adapt, and you know, we went from war being marching in lines, firing toward another line of marching men, to hiding in the mud in Vietnam, to now we've got drones doing it. We got drones just flying overhead and just nuking brown people from a distance. And you know, the same goes for the info war. We've got to adapt. We've got to move, and once we've restored civilization, then we can restore. I don't want to say restore our morals and principles, because we've had them the whole time. You know, it's kind of like, because we believe in the death penalty doesn't mean we believe everyone deserves to die. No, only the guilty. Only the guilty are held by their own standard. Which is why now what we're seeing with the mainstream media, and we'll get into that in here in a little bit, the mainstream media doing their damage control on the various narratives surrounding the Kirk assassination and the assassin himself, and Kirk's beliefs This idea that Charlie Kirk himself was some sort of racist, homophobe. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people on the right who wish Charlie Kirk was more racist, who wish Charlie Kirk was more homophobe. Right? I mean, there's a lot of those folks out there. But unfortunately for the mainstream media and for a lot of normies who were upset by short clips taken out of context, that's not the case. So we got this video here from Fox News. I don't even want to say his name. The individual TR, we'll call him TR, who was arrested for the yeeting. Had his first court hearing. Oh, here we go.
No electronic usage is allowed unless pre-approved. Any disruptions will be removed.
Oh man,
to the
that
jail,
sounds
are we
like
ready
he's
to proceed.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's in a self-deletion prevention vest.
1403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graff. Mr. Scortis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You're probably already aware of my presence or why I'm here, but if not, I am not entering an appearance. I'm not counsel on this case. I'm working with the county to get counsel assigned, but we need.
So he doesn't have a lawyer.
Allow for the appointment of counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Scortis.
So he doesn't have a lawyer?
Well, I want to go through the qualifications
Absolutely.
for indigency, but that is my intent, Mr. Scortis.
Very well.
And I thank you.
Qualifications for indigenous.
So, Mr. Robinson,
he's too
you
broke
have
for a
right
lawyer.
to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule A qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with their filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned attorneys must file declarations with the court.
So I did have to mention, let me bring this down for just a second. In conversation with some of my friends, I was kind of talking about this here. Pretty serious for a pro bono. It's pretty serious even for an experienced defense attorney. Here you have allegations that this individual, and let me get into the legal arena real quick. I'm not a lawyer, so I want to say that right up front. I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched a lot of these high-profile murder trials. And let me just say, there was about, 6, 7, 8 months ago, there was this tweet and then a couple conversations put out by Tim Pool, where Tim Pool had repeatedly made this claim that Derek Chauvin should be released from prison. And the reason Derek Chauvin should be released from prison is that the judge had ruled that a change of venue was not necessary for Derek Chauvin because it didn't matter where you put the trial of Derek Chauvin, there would be people who would have already been tainted. Like, there was not a place where Derek Chauvin could have a quote-unquote fair jury. And so Tim Pool repeatedly said, well, that means you can't have a fair trial, and therefore that means you don't have a trial, and that means Derek Chauvin should be free. And there have been a lot of people making comparisons between the Charlie Kirk assassination versus the death of George Floyd. And here is yet another one to be made. Tranny fucker here, and hopefully I still have a YouTube account after calling him that. Tranny fucker here has a situation on his hands where most of America is now aware of this very highly political crime. where, again, there's this both sides argument, but he's in Provo, Utah, a very conservative leaning area. Now, all it takes is one of these Trantifa activists to get onto the jury, and he's a free man. Darth Idiot says, fuck a YouTube account. I somewhat agree. Hopefully I'm using it to draw people over to Rumble, because we do Rumble exclusives on Mondays over here. So if you're over there on YouTube, you might jump over to Rumble. Speaking of, I went to refresh and lost a few viewers. All right. Anyway, so this idea is, how fair of a trial do y'all think that tranny fuckers are going to get? Do you think, and will it be an actual fair trial, or will there be shenanigans? I want his trial to be completely fair, and I want his execution to be public, if he's guilty. Now, I say that the man has confessed at least 3 times now. He confessed to his father and his father's friend, the sheriff's deputy. He's confessed now to the police and kind of the judge here, the DA. And then he confessed to his partner, allegedly, via text message. And I know there's a lot of questions about the text message circulating on social media right now. And look, I'm a conspiracy theorist just as much as anyone else. I think it smells funny too. It doesn't, to me, sound like the writings of a 22-year-old. But this is what we were presented by the district attorney. And I know we have a lot of shady, dirty district attorneys that would do anything to get a conviction. But for now, that's what we have to work with. That's the public information and the official narrative. And that's what I'm going to be talking about for now, until we have proof otherwise. I definitely want to see a deeper investigation. I want to see the FBI continuing to iron this out and work this out and find out all the people who might have known. There's been a lot of talk about that the FBI is now investigating a lot of other people in Discord and Reddit chats. I would like to see that evidence, but I'm not just going to believe everything the government says. I want to see the defense made in a court of law. And if a jury of his peers finds that this guilty, or that this evidence is sufficient to declare him guilty beyond reasonable doubt, then yes, I would like to definitely see him executed in the public square.
They outline their qualifications under Rule 8 and Rule 8C, under Rule 8B and Rule 8C for counsel appointment in a case where death may be a sentencing option. I'm ordering that those declarations be filed prior to the next hearing date, which is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. Mr. Robinson, I also wish to inform you of your right against self-incrimination. Anything that you say in court today could be used against you, and we want to protect your constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail.
No bail. Thank God.
Is there any other
All right.
points that you wish to address?
No, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Turning to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Chad Grunander for the state. I'm also joined, and they're listed as attendees, Ryan McBride, Lauren Hunt, David Sturgill, and Chris Ballard. We are the trial team on this case. I do have a few points I'd like to bring up with Your Honor. We have filed
dear God, this
a
is 12
pretrial
minutes
protective order on behalf of Erica Kirk. We would ask the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign
Wait, what was that?
Filed a pretrial protective order
Pretrial
on behalf of
protective
Erica
order.
Kirk.
On behalf of Erica
We would ask
Kirk.
the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign that.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So this is so like he can't send her messages.
The pretrial protective order and will be granted.
Or maybe have his
this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica Kirk.
So like he can't send her letters or messages
that we need to address today,
online.
counsel.
Okay. Well, they said he's
Just
not
for
going to
the
have
court's
online
information,
access
we did
anyway.
file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file. Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information and bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Well, good that they got their shit together.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Mr. Robinson, what I also want to do is you have the right to have the charges read that you stand charged of, and I wish to read those to you at this time.
Okay. Well, I don't need to do this. We heard yesterday they had the whole press conference. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. How the hell do I back out of this? I have to click the thing. Fox, your video platform sucks. Let me just say that. All right, I think I belabored the point on that. But let's go into let's jump to another couple news stories here, because we're already almost an hour in, and I've belabored this to death. Quite frankly, the Kirk stuff, we're going to be dealing with the fallout of it for probably several months. And we'll get back into the media narratives and shit in just a few minutes. But I usually start off the show with more normie news. But I thought it was relevant to it being Constitution Day to at least address the kind of bullshit that Pam Bondi was up to, and sort of a warning against government tyranny there. So let's get into the normie news for just a few minutes. We got Robert Redford dead at 89. I'm sure some of you have seen at least one Robert Redford movie. Let's see, we got Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were, Ordinary People, Downhill Racer, The Candidate. Sure, all of you have seen at least one Robert Redford movie. I mean, I actually didn't know enough about Robert Redford to know what his politics were, but, he's definitely an American icon of some sort. Darth Idiot had no idea that he wasn't already Deadford. Okay. Let's see. We also had multiple officers involved in a Pennsylvania shooting as the governor rushes to the scene. Josh Shapiro confirms he's traveling. Let's see. We got at least 2 people in serious condition after a shooting involving multiple law enforcement officers in York County, Pennsylvania on Wednesday. Governor Shapiro confirmed he's on his way, said he was briefed, and asked those in the area to follow directions of law enforcement and state police. Lieutenant Governor is asking for prayers. Please send prayers to the officers and those involved in the shooting. As we learn more, follow all guidance from police and stay away from the area. Wellspan York Hospital confirmed to Fox News that it was treating 2 people related to the incident, but did not specify who the people were, only saying that they are in serious condition. Enhanced security protocols are in place at the hospital, it added. The Consulate of Mexico in Philadelphia also posted, noting that the Mexican community is advised to follow official instructions. Okay. The consulate is monitoring the incident that occurred this afternoon in North Codorus Township, Pennsylvania. The Mexican community is advised to follow official instructions. Officials noted if consular assistance is required, they set up a hotline. It's unclear how the Mexican community may be connected to the incident. That smells interestingly weird. Spring Grove School District issued a shelter-in-place alert related to the incident, which official says does not involve its schools or students. Excuse me. Officials said state police are investigating. Pennsylvania State Police, York County of Emergency Management, Wellspan Health, and Governor Shapiro's office did not respond to inquiries from Fox News. So there you have it. Thank you, Fox News. Andrea Koch, for that. Dr. Pyrostein in the chat. Cheers and welcome, good doctor. Good seeing you. Good show last night, sir. Let's see. Let me give you my African American.
Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So we have.
All right, there we go. All right, let's see. We've had a ton of congressional hearings the last few days. Let's do this. Former CDC Chief Susan Monterez was grilled by the Senate today. Let's check out some clips from that, because we've got some clips from that. We had Kash Patel yesterday, and I think Come on. What is going on with my Rumble Studio? Oh, and as soon as I killed it, it popped up. There we go. Let's hear what Rand Paul had to say to Susan Monterez.
Does the COVID vaccine prevent transmission?
The COVID vaccine can reduce viral load in individuals who are
Does it prevent transmission?
When you have reduced viral load, you will have reduced transmission.
But in other words, it doesn't prevent transmission. You can still transmit the virus if you've had the vaccine. In fact, there's been reduced ability to interfere with transmission over time. And what we've found is the most recent one since Omicron is down around 16% reduction, if there is a reduction. Does the COVID vaccine reduce hospitalization for children under 18?
It can.
It doesn't. The statistics are inconclusive, and the reason you can't prove that it does is there's so few people under 18 that go to the hospital. The numbers are extraordinarily small. There's like 76 million kids under 18 in our country. 183 died, and a few thousand went to the hospital in 2020 and 2021. And since then, the numbers have dropped precipitously, and the idea and the issue needs to be discussed. But the COVID vaccine is not.
Okay, so shout out to all the vaccine nut jobs out there who would answer him with, well, that's because everyone got vaccinated. The numbers went down. What do you want? No, that's not why. That's literally not why.
Not reducing hospitalization. It's not statistically significant. Does the COVID vaccine reduce the rate of death for children under 18?
It can.
Once again, it can. That's a ridiculous answer. No, it doesn't. And there is no statistical evidence that it does reduce the death rate. These are statistics. We've looked at it.
So she was fired from the CDC, and that's what this entire shit show was about.
Does the COVID vaccine prevent transmission?
Apparently she had whined to Congress that she was fired improperly and had complaints that she wanted to make about RFK.
What day was she fired?
I believe I was fired on August 27th.
Okay, what day was the first time you seeked counsel? Not retained, seeked counsel.
I don't recall.
We can get those records, so maybe you should recall them, because I think you might have an honesty issue here that we want to point out. So what day was it that you spoke to the attorneys the first time?
It was on or before the day I was fired.
No, that's when you retained them. You already testified to that. When did you speak to them?
Again, it was on or before the day I was fired.
So you retained them the first time you spoke to them?
I believe that I retained them the first time I spoke to them.
Was you let go in the middle of the night? Was you let go in the middle of the day?
I believe.
Now, I know the answer to this, so let's be honest here.
I believe I received. I believe I received an email from the White House indicating that my services were no longer needed.
What time was that?
Sometime in the afternoon, sometime in the evening.
Late evening, late afternoon, late evening.
Probably.
And so you got hold of the attorneys late at night?
I'm sorry, what?
You got hold of the attorneys after business hours to retain them?
Busted.
I don't recall.
I think you do.
I really.
I think you don't recall. You don't recall retaining your attorneys.
I don't recall the specific time or day that I returned them.
See, I still think you have an honest issue because it wasn't that long ago. And I think I could recall when I hired an attorney. And I could definitely recall the time I did it. Now, let's when did you remove the political appointees from the floor that you work on?
Again, I did not. I moved some political appointees in, and I put my senior advisors together.
When did you remove them and remove their access to your floor? And you had a conversation with the secretary about this. When did that happen? Like how many days into your job?
I'm sorry, I don't even know what you're asking.
Yeah, you do, because you already talked about political appointees that the secretary had put in place. You removed the political appointees that was in there when you first got to your work. When did you remove them from your floor and take away their ability to access your floor? And you know exactly what I'm talking about because you and the secretary spoke about that.
You are. You're miscontextualizing.
No, I'm not. I'm asking the question. What day did you remove them?
I have one political chief of staff. I have 3 political chiefs of staff. I had space made for all of them in my suite.
When did you remove the political appointees or the political hires before you got there? That was there prior to you getting there. This isn't hard. It's not hard. You talk in circles, and I just want an answer because you know.
So
basically what he's saying, if I can understand any of it, is that the Trump administration, the 2016 to 2020 Trump administration, had appointed several chiefs of staff at the CDC. And at some point, I'm assuming, this is just me assuming, that the question here is, those people got removed at her direction. And now she's been removed for being a political beast. And she's claiming, oh no, I got fired. It's unfair. Fuck around and find out.
I had the security of my suite.
Okay. So let me ask you something. Your conversation with the secretary.
My suite.
You said that.
So she's saying I didn't lock them out of the workspace. I just locked them out of my workspace that I trusted the Democrat heads of staff to be in my office, but I don't trust these people. So I removed access to my office, but they still had room to work.
He said he didn't trust you.
Correct.
You testified to that. Is that really how that conversation went? Because there's other people in the room, and I think the conversation was, can he trust you? And your answer was?
He said he could not trust me.
No. The answer, ma'am, it was a recorded meeting.
Women. Am I right? Am I right, guys?
So you can testify.
Am I right, guys? You ask a woman, can I trust you? Why wouldn't you trust me? You don't trust me. I mean, this is literally every married man has had this conversation at some point.
One way, or you can prove that you're lying or be honest with this committee. I'm giving you the opportunity to be honest here because you've been really walking around the edges and not being truthful. So did he ask you the question, can he trust you? And your answer was?
He told me he could not trust me. And I told him if he could not trust me, he could fire me.
That isn't how that conversation went. And you know that, don't you?
He told me he could not trust me.
Darth great.
And I told him if he could not trust me, he could fire me.
Ma'am.
And then he did, and now you're bitching about it.
Honest. And you haven't been. You're not being honest with the conversation you're having. You're not being honest with the timeline, and you won't even give the answers of who your
and you
attorneys
hired
were.
lawyers.
And all we're looking for is you to be honest. If we're going to have a hearing and we're going to discuss certain things, let's make sure we're talking with someone that we can trust your answers. It's like my kids. I tell my kids all the time, one thing I want from you, I can deal with any situation we walk into as long as I know you're being 100% honest with me. The minute I can't tell you're being honest with me, I can't trust you. From then on, everything you say is questioned. And you have to question you because your personality and your answers.
Yeah, but Dr. Pyrostine says, can I trust you is about as stupid of a question as are you lying? Yes, but you still ask those questions to see how they react. It's kind of like the what is his name? What's his name? Wilson, the guy from the whatever podcast, Andrew Wilson. Kind of like when he says, he asks people, how would your day have went if you didn't have breakfast, right? And if they ignore the how would your day have went and focus on the but I did have breakfast or but I didn't have breakfast, right? If they ignore it and instead focus on, like, it's this idea that how you respond to the question says more about you than the actual words coming out of your mouth. So you ask the question anyway to see if you get these kind of answers that she's given now. Well, I recall and sir. So yeah, you do ask questions like, are you lying or can I trust you? And yes, they are stupid questions, but you ask stupid questions to see how stupid the answer is going to be or how stupid the behavior in response to the stupid question is.
Aren't correct. Therefore, I yield back.
Senator Markey.
Okay, Darthidia says it's called a conditional hypothetical. Yeah. And yeah, apparently I just cannot read Rumble ads because I've been over 10 viewers multiple times and it says minimum 10 viewership and yet they're grayed out. I just do not have access to them. Not sure what's going on with Rumble Studio. Let me try refreshing Rumble Studio for just a minute. I'm going to go silent for just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's working now. Thank you, folks, for sticking with me on that. And please stick through this quick ad real quick. As you've probably noticed, Rumble is growing fast and not slowing down. Building a real alternative to big tech that actually puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Rumble members unlock exclusive content like we have here on Mondays. Monday, 5 p.m. Central, folks. Exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators, like myself, like some other folks out there. Right now, Rumble's offering a $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium. Use promo code STUDIO at the checkout. That's rumble.com/premium. Promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content that you actually care about. That's the deal. And yes, right here on Mild's Culture Plate, if you're a Rumble Premium member, the only ads you'll hear are the ads that Rumble will allow me to read. Because I'm not sponsored. I'm not bought out. Darth Hideous says, imagine gaining viewers during an ad read. Yeah, that's kind of awesome. Whoever just showed up, you're awesome. I love you folks. All right, let's see. And so let's see what the mainstream media had to say about Susan Monterez here. testifies about RFK Jr. says she's very nervous about vaccine recommendations. Yeah, well, defend the birth dose of the hepatitis B vaccine. Oh, let's see if we can find that. That should be interesting. Hang on, let's see if we can find that video. Dear God, it's a 5-minute video. Well, let's do it. Let's get into it.
As I agree with you completely that we need to restore trust in public health. But in order to do so, we have to have a discussion about the actual science, and we can't have a discussion of this, about all vaccines are good, all vaccines are bad. This is about specific vaccines. It's about specific age groups. It's about specific policies. Does the COVID vaccine prevent transmission?
Okay, we've heard this. Let's skip forward.
The COVID
are inconclusive, and the reason a few thousand went to the vaccine reduced the rate of death. These are statistics.
We've already
so really
watched all this.
The whole recommendation for what people fail to see from this is then what would the risks of the vaccine be? We have large population studies of the risks of the vaccine in younger people. And it turns out that you don't see this as much if you look at the general population, but once you start isolating in by age group, which you have to do in COVID because there's such a disparity among age group,
okay,
you
so
find
we'll
that
talk
there
about
is
COVID.
an unbiased. You wouldn't fire the people who are saying that we have to vaccinate our kids at 6 months of age. That's who you refuse to fire.
So that assertion is not commensurate with the experience that I had with the individuals who are identified to be fired.
Did any of the people you refused to fire, did any of the people you refused to answer the question? Did any of the people you refused to fire believe that we should change the vaccine schedule and no longer force 6-month-old kids to take it? Every one of them was adamant we should keep it at 6 months. Everybody's alarmed. We're going to change the childhood routine. Well, we should. There is no medical reason. What is the medical reason to give a hepatitis B vaccine to a newborn whose mom has no hepatitis?
So none of the discussion points that you just brought up were ever...
That's changing the childhood schedule.
Will you allow her to answer the question?
Regular order, regular order. You have your time, Bernie. I got mine.
Oh, that was awesome. I love Rand Paul for that. You got your time, Bernie. I got mine.
This is the debate over changing the childhood schedule. The hepatitis B vaccine on the schedule is given to newborns. What is the medical, scientific reason and proof for giving a newborn a hepatitis B vaccine if the mom is hep B negative?
I agree, Darth Hideous. I'm trying.
I want to go back to the assertion associated.
What is the medical reason for giving a hepatitis B vaccine to a newborn? See, everybody's like blithely going along. We can't change the childhood. You're somehow terrible if you want to change the childhood. We should be discussing what is the childhood vaccine schedule, and the burden should be on you. You want to make all the kids take this? The burden is upon you and the people you wouldn't fire to prove to us that we need to give our 6-month-old a COVID vaccine and that we need to give our 1-day-old a hepatitis B vaccine. That's what the debate ought to be about, not whether all vaccines are good or whether we live in Alice in Wonderland.
I actually agree with you. And I was open to the science. I just would not pre-commit to approving all the ACIP recommendations without the science.
Untrue.
I mean, Darth Idiot says your background reminds me of Jeremy from Quarter Planet. All right. I mean, I'll accept the criticism. Yeah, it's too much Batman. I get it. But it's who I am. I'm unabashedly myself. I fully accept the criticism. Where did I go with that? Okay, so Darth Hideous did not want to hear Kash Patel. Well, I'm sorry, but we're going to do a little bit of that. Just a little bit. Because there were some good moments. There were some actual moments where I liked what Kash Patel was doing. But let's get into a few of these heated exchanges that went viral.
2005, because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants, we were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this
stop
great
that.
search.
I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials
Has
under your
anyone
direct
released
control.
more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much more.
Comey, did
Oh,
Ray.
come on.
Much more.
Did they?
Oh, come on.
Excuse me. Much more is coming.
So, yeah, Jamie Raskin's a fucking swamp creature. By the way, Sanglant, cheers and welcome, good friend. Always nice seeing you in the chat. Let me give you the old...
True international effort to pressure.
Give me the old Biden. Cheers and welcome, my friend. But yeah, fucking... I don't like Jamie Raskin, but he's right here. Like, Kash Patel, you made promises you did not intend to keep, apparently. And I don't care how many failures of the Obama administration or the Biden administration, the buck stops here now, buddy. You're the one in the hot seat. You and Dan Bongino were the ones saying, hey, if we had some different people in charge, that's the problem with Biden. That's the problem with Obama. That's the problem with the bureaucratic FBI that the Biden administration built. And that if we got in there, if we got our guy in there, then we need to demand accountability. Well, that's what we're doing now, Kash.
Out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
Yes.
I literally just told you there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking about.
That is not.
It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know
Time
that?
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Okay, so he's not wrong. There have been a few court cases to seal certain files. Okay, so here we go. So here's the kind of whataboutism we just saw from the other end. So we saw Kash Patel kind of making excuses, and here's Jim Jordan kind of giving him some backup. Not that I think he needs it, but some of this stuff did need to be said. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out here real quick.
Director, yes or no? Is the FBI still spying on parents at school board meetings?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still targeting Catholics?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still spying on President Trump?
I don't believe so.
Is the FBI still censoring Americans?
He didn't say no.
No, sir.
Is the FBI still targeting?
He didn't say no. He said, I don't believe so. Is the FBI still spying on President Trump? I don't believe so.
Americans for shopping at Cabela's or purchasing Bibles?
Nobody is targeted for their faith.
Is the FBI still targeting Americans who are pro-life?
Nobody is targeting anyone for their beliefs.
Is the FBI still cooking the books on crime data?
He's not saying
crime data is real.
Is the FBI still purging agents
He's
for
not
conservative
saying
viewpoints?
No one at the FBI has asked their viewpoints on politics.
Is the FBI still labeling the Betsy Ross flag, the flag of the American Revolution, a hate symbol?
No.
Well, maybe that's why you've been able to, what was the number? 23,000 bad guys you've arrested, a huge increase from the same time period in the previous administration.
Okay, but how many convictions?
I think you said 1,400 predators, 4,000 children rescued. Were those the facts?
4,700, 35% increase on children rescued.
Yeah. And you got the guy that,
now that,
Abbey Gate. We had a guy from the 4th District of Ohio who lost his life there serving our country. We appreciate that. Maybe when you're not focused on politics, you can actually do what the FBI is supposed to do. Go get the bad guys, right?
No, but that's not the director's job. The director's not doing investigations. The director's... the director is not like you're not pulling guys off the field. You're not pulling guys off that are doing, midnight raids of child pedophile rings. You're not pulling those guys off to get the Epstein files together, right? Yes, Darth Hideous. The director is a politician. So, yeah, Jim Jordan, yeah, some of that stuff, sure, yeah. Point out that the FBI is no longer committing the atrocities of the Biden administration. But this idea that somehow what the FBI is currently doing is way more fucking noble. Anyway, let's see what Kash Patel had to say to Adam Schiff real quick.
Think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am
The
doing is
most-
protecting
the
this
most-
country,
the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of
the
intelligence
Epstein
by the
files
likes of you.
cover-up
And we have
gets
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you
January
call that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud.
See, right here. This is what pisses me off. Because look at him and look at the accusations he's making. If what you're saying is true, why is he not arrested? Why has Pam Bondi not charged this man? If this man had committed treason against the United States, how is he still a sitting senator? Now, you could say, well, maybe the Trump administration doesn't want to arrest their political opponents.
To ever sit in the
This
United
stinks
States
to
Senate,
high
you are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon.
What's he wearing
at
on his
best.
wrist?
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of the California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of order.
But all you care about is a
Goddamn,
child
Dr.
sex
Pyrestein.
predator that was
Dr. Pyrestein, I've spent a week and a half now. I've spent a week and a half now saying that our politics should be less violent. Dr. Pyrestein, I would believe these guys more if they would punch each other sometimes. And I actually have to agree with you. I do. I actually have to agree with you. I denounce all political violence, but if these guys are truly this heated, like, come on.
Prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
All right, then. I mean, it was just, it was a lot of that. A lot of that. Let's see. I wanted to find the Cory Booker one. Dear God, we got Jasmine Crockett. We've got Pramila Jayapal. You know what? I'm kind of done with this. I'm kind of with Darth Hideous. I'm kind of done hearing Kash Patel lie to us. And yeah, it's fun watching him own all these shitlib senators. But quite frankly, like, I want to see some Russiagate arrests. I want to hear what the fuck happened last year in Butler. I want to hear, like, he was asked about the Epstein files, and he said something along the lines, or let's see, what was that? He was asked about an ongoing investigation. He says, I don't reveal information about an ongoing investigation. And I'm like, well, okay, well, how long is the investigation going to be ongoing? Like, he said, whoa, what was that? Huh. Oh, more leftist bullshit. Okay, sorry. The Fed reduced interest rates today, and yeah, I'm not going to get into the fucking weeds on that. Sorry, I'm just kind of browsing while my brain's going in 50 different directions. Trump visited UK today. There were various interesting takes on his visit, but it appears to just be your normal diplomatic. You know, he went over there, he met, they had dinner. Seemed very cordial, seemed very pleasant. I mean, Trump kind of looks pissed off in some of these, but seemed very diplomatic. It's at this point he did start talking to some of the sword guard, the king's sword guard, the royal guards, which people don't often get to talk to the royal guards, and the royal guards, usually don't respond to people, but Donald Trump, he's Donald Trump. Yeah, LB Weaver. Yeah, kind of miss Bongino. He seemed more the type. And yeah, honestly, yeah, they should have made Bongino the director, and not the fall guy position, because that's really what's going on. Yes, Darth Hideous. Bongino was a Secret Service guy, but I believe most of his tenure in the Secret Service was on Clinton's detail. All right, what else we got over in the news real quick, as I'm buzzing the news real quick. I do have some other things saved. I did want to kind of address a little bit. I don't have clips ready. I don't have news stories ready, but I did say I'd circle back, and now that we're at 6:30 Central Time, I should probably go ahead and start a rant about this. The mainstream media and the continuous smearing of Charlie Kirk. I've had to emotionally disconnect from a lot of this, because every time I open my phone, every time I go on any platform, X, Facebook, anywhere, anytime I go on any kind of social media, it's constantly, yeah, do you know Charlie Kirk said this about black people? Do you know Charlie Kirk said this about gay people? And if you want to get into that conversation, there's definitely yesterday on the Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. Steven Crowder addressed a lot of this. I don't think he did the best job in putting every quote into context that looks 100% favorable to Charlie, because let's face it, Charlie was a divisive figure. Charlie did say some spicy things. Now, those of you like me that are in the grassroots, the far right, we're in the thick of things. We're in like Israel and some of the opinions he had about gay people, they seem milk toast when you're like, yeah, no, we don't want that around our kids, period. We don't want that in politics, period. So a lot of the things to us, Charlie's position may have seemed milk toast, but to normies, it seemed far right. And I don't think Steven Crowder did the best job, but go check out Steven Crowder's show yesterday, where he went through a lot of these claims that are being made about Charlie Kirk and the beliefs that Charlie Kirk had. But I'm going to tell you, and this goes out to any leftist who may stumble upon my show. I don't want to make any excuses for anything Charlie Kirk may have said. And to be honest, I think it does a disservice to the content to argue with you folks, to argue with the left, to make counterclaims about what Charlie Kirk believed. I think it does a disservice to Christianity to make excuses for what Charlie Kirk believed, or to try to clarify or contextualize things that were said. Yes, a lot of them are hateful. And even myself, I had the gut reaction to respond to hateful things people were saying out of context about things Charlie Kirk said, right? 7 years ago. What saying, Lance? Oh, the Queen's card. Oh shit. We'll have to show that here in a minute. That'd be a good that'll be good for the fuck around and find out of the week. Thank you, Sanglant, for that. Cheers. Instead, here's what I'm going to say. Stand-up comedians are supposed to say offensive words. That's the point of stand-up comedy. To push the boundaries of society and to get us to view the horrors of our society, the horrific aspects of our society, and calm it down with humor. It's supposed to say, you know what? We're surrounded by extremes. And as long as we can laugh at how extreme they are, then we can still maintain a sense of normalcy. And so I always, when I talk about free speech, we started off the program tonight talking a lot about free speech. I love to talk about stand-up comedy because stand-up comedy is definitely one area in which free speech is vital. You have to have the ability to make a 9/11 joke, to make a rape joke. It's vital because it continues to say, look how extreme that thing is. In the far left, in the speech police, the language police want to say, well, that's normalizing. No, it's the opposite. It's using parody and humor to treat the abstract, the crazy thing as normal, as a joke, to show how extreme the thing is. Yeah, Darth Hideous. Oh my God. Yeah, I was watching the Charlie Kirk show live when his wife was. Yeah, I saw that as well. That fucked with me too. I lost it. I was at work. I was working a double shift, and when that went down, I lost it. Because children tug at my heart. But anyway, back to stand-up comedy. Debate is, I would say, the next step, because in debate you have to be able to defend the indefensible. You have to be able to steel man the most straw men of arguments. You have to be able to attack points from all sides of arguing. And as such, you have to be able to speak freely. You have to be able to say the most reprehensible thing so that then you can argue against the reprehensible thing, or show how, look, maybe one aspect of the reprehensible thing is the most horrific, horrible thing in society, but this one little consequence, right? This one little cause and effect thing of the horrible thing, is something that we can discuss. It's something we can talk about, or vice versa. This one glorious, wonderful thing, one of the effects of it has festered over time and become reprehensible. For example, when Charlie Kirk talks about the Civil Rights Act, a quote that's been taken out of context, and he says it's a law he doesn't think ever should have been passed. And you could make the argument that, eventually, I don't necessarily agree with him. I think at the time you had a bunch of Democrats that wanted to act like commies in their business and create little commie networks of business owners, of approved and unapproved business that they were willing to do. Now, granted, I fully believe in the right of free association and being free to allow who you want in your business, but at the same time, yes, Darth Hideous, Civil Rights Act led to forced association. There's got to be a middle ground, though. I think it should have been temporary, and you know, that's what Charlie Kirk was saying. Then he said, look at the reprehensible things that culture grew out of, to where now we have essentially the opposite problem happening. And I think whether or not you agree with that, whether or not I agree with that, because I don't. I'm not on that page of it where I think you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think it was a good thing. I think maybe it should have been temporary. I think we've outgrown it. I think we can solve the problems that modern society has with race in a different way. But again, people get emotional. I think it needs reform. I really do. But I think in modern time, Charlie Kirk, I think looking at what he said in the most negative light takes away the ability to debate that point. And I think we even may have watched part of that debate on this show. I think I said at the time that I think he went bad with that. Like, he didn't articulate himself very well when challenged. I think that particular debate, I think that was part of he was on that Surrounded show. And I don't think he came out of that part of the debate sounding good, sounding sane. I don't think his ideas won the day that day. At least that portion of the debate where they were talking about the Civil Rights Act, where he was talking about race relations. But you have to be able to have the freedom to go down those paths, to talk about, well, the what ifs of life. What if this bad thing had happened? Or what if this good thing hadn't happened? What if you had a time machine and could go back in time and kill Hitler? We have to be, as debaters, as philosophers, we have to be able to clarify our beliefs. And in clarifying our beliefs, we may compare and contrast them to horrific things. That doesn't mean we support the horrific thing. For example, and again, I said I wasn't going to try to contextualize all of this, but I feel like it's important to at least show some examples of what I'm talking about. For example, the claim was made that Charlie Kirk wanted to stone gay people to death. And this was highlighted by Stephen King, who had some pretty harsh words to say about Charlie Kirk as an emotional reaction to this quote. To which I believe his book got delisted in a lot of places. His basically his whole line of books got delisted from certain retailers because of this. And he quickly was informed by all of you wonderful ex-users how incorrect he was about that quote. And that he was not saying gay people should be stoned to death. He was debating someone in the audience who was asking him about the Leviticus part of the Bible and all of these other parts of Leviticus where it's like, love thy neighbor kind of stuff. And he responded with, well, yeah, but what did it say about gay people? You should lay with another man, you should be stoned. So he was comparing and contrasting these two parts of Leviticus that seems to contradict one another unless you take them in a bigger context, which, oh my God, imagine taking a single quote out of context and then having to look at the bigger context and realize what it really says. Oh my God, Stephen King, you did the thing. Darth Hideous. If gay people want to get stoned, that's their business. Hey, grow your own though. Grow your own, because a lot of these dispensaries are pumping GMO crap and putting it in these vape pens. Grow your own. All right. Dorothy says, "Yeah, don't smoke the fentanyl shit." Dr. Pyrestein says, "You can't argue with people that are learning English as a system of wake and trigger words to activate their slave programs." But that's just it. It's so much of society that at some point you have to say, you know, it's not about the woke slaves, and it's on some level, it's also at the normie conservatives that will then run to Facebook and X and all their social media with then the right-wing narrative of fighting back. Instead, we need to be telling the left how to actually think. And they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. But if you say it enough, if you say how to think, like instead of arguing with them about what Charlie Kirk said, instead say, no, we have to be able to speak reprehensible in a debate without the assumption that that's what I believe. Because I do that a lot. I take devil's advocate positions and bounce things off of people just to kind of see, okay, you say this is going to act this way. Well, what happens if X, Y, Z? And I will challenge them to then play out the scenarios. That's how philosophy works. We have to challenge philosophy. And in order to challenge philosophy, we have to assume the worst, and we have to steel man our position. We have to steel man the opponent's position, and we have to make sure that, look, if society is going to go down this path, that we are advocating that the society should go down this path. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the costs we're willing to pay? And what are the unfortunate tragedies we're going to see? And how do you get society to agree on paying those costs for those benefits? The only way you can do it is to be honest about the reprehensible shit. The only way you can do it is be honest about the divisions America has. And the only way you can do it is be honest with the language you're using. So, if I call this individual that was arrested last week a tranny fucker, he kind of earned that term. That doesn't mean I want to see everyone who has ever, taken a holiday to Bangkok. That doesn't mean I want all of you to die, right? If you've taken a holiday to Bangkok. I don't know if you get my analogy I'm making there, but a lot of people who go to Bangkok for holiday are looking to be a tranny fucker. You see how that works? Just because I can put a certain belief into a context doesn't mean that's my whole set of beliefs in every scenario you can think of, and therefore you should judge me by the straw man version of your worst reaction to what I just said. And if we had more faith in one another, yeah, Darth Hideous, boom, boom. As long as you're not a kid fucker, I probably don't wish death on you. Yeah. Or a murderer. Or trafficking in children for other people to fuck. Yeah, and Darth Hideous is right here too. A lot of that translates to shut up and conform. You know, this is what the media narrative now is about. I think the left wing, and I've saw some news stories about this. The left wing is realizing that they are losing support because of the way the far left is making them look. I've seen several news stories about how church attendance this past week has went way up. Dear Sarge, Dr. Disrespect cheated on his wife with a tranny hooker besides messaging an underage girl. Creepy. Yeah, but you know what? If the tranny hooker thing was consensual, and then I don't want to get into the underage girl thing. Like I really like that whole thing was just disgusting. Like I'm hoping he didn't send her sexual. I know he was messaging an underage girl, but was he sending her actual sexual graphic material? I don't remember. But yeah, the tranny hooker thing, as long as that was all consensual, yeah, just I don't want to see him being paraded around as some sort of like Charlie Kirk style conservative. But yeah, I mean, tranny hooker stuff. What you do in your bedroom is your business. All right, let's go to what Sanglant sent me here. Let's do the fuck around and find out of the week. In celebration of Trump's visit to the UK here. Let's see this Queen's Guard here.
I'm not being harmed. Just it's fun, but he can't do nothing. He can't do.
Listen. He's doing his job. Don't be an idiot.
He can't do nothing.
He can't do nothing. Boom. He did something. He can't do nothing. Yeah, well, yeah, he did. He did something. Oh man. So you know, I went to that for the fuck around and find out when there's been a lot of other fuck around and find out this week. How about let's do this. Let's see. Where okay. What is going on here? Why is this website down? Speaking of fuck around and finding out, why is this website down? CharliesMurderers.com could not be found diagnosing the problem. Huh. It's being... Yeah, Darth Hideous says, my guess is being DDoSed. No, it's more than just DDoS. They're contacting web servers. They're contacting web servers. Here's a far left account. Do not message these people. Do not harass these people. Owners and admins of Charlie Murderer's site have changed the URL. We still know where you are, where your servers are, where your system is, and we've contacted a few places. Might want to move. This website will land y'all a few felony charges. And so they're posting IP addresses and server points. So yeah, it's more than just a DDoS. They're contacting VeriSign, and they're contacting service providers and telling them that this is a doxing website and that See, and then backup doxing site charliekirkdata.org went down after mass reports, just like charliesmurderers.com. Both targeted teachers, civil rights leaders, and commenters. Reporting works. Reach out so we can act together. Again, don't harass these people. So yeah, Charlie's Murderers is down, but not before it bagged 100 firings of nurses, teachers, government agents that were celebrating, cheering the murder of conservatives. They all lost their damn jobs. So again, I ask Pam Bondi's little targeted hate speech. Is it targeting? Is it hate speech? To call for boycotts or the resignation of or firing of employees of these companies and hospitals and schools, other government agencies, when people clearly show a disdain for life? Oh, okay. Sanglant shared that it's at a .net right now. Thank you, Sanglant. I mean, boom. Oh man, it's getting smaller, isn't it? Is an employer or student of yours supporting political violence online? Has the deep state infiltrated your bread box? Have you been disinvited to Thanksgiving? Send information on anyone celebrating Charlie's death, either with memes or tasteless quotes from Charlie himself in or out of context, to charliesmurderers@gmail.com. charliekirksmurderers@gmail.com. All right. Dear Sarge says, listening to the last few minutes on mobile. Thank you for that, by the way. And look, anyone else listening on mobile or listening to the audio only, please stop back by later and leave a comment below. Cheers to you folks. Good seeing you. I think I don't want to. I've only got a couple minutes left. Oh shit! Oh shit! We've got news, folks. This is straight from Tim Pool. Variety. Breaking news. Breaking news from Variety. ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after Charlie Kirk comments. Yeah, go away, ad. ABC said it would take Jimmy Kimmel's popular late night show off its schedule indefinitely after one of the biggest owners of its TV stations in the U.S., Nexstar Media, said it intended to preempt airings of the program following remarks the host made about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Nexstar said that its owned and partner television stations affiliated with ABC Television will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Said it strongly objects to the recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. In his monologue Monday, he said that the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off of Kirk's murder. We hit some new lows over the weekend with MAGA gang trying to characterize this kid who killed Charlie as anything other than one of them. Kimmel said he also poked fun at Trump's response to a question from the press about how he was mourning Kirk's death after Trump pivoted the discussion to a construction of a new White House ballroom. FCC Chairman Carr threatened on Thursday to take action against ABC after Disney's decision was revealed. He said he wanted to thank Nexstar for doing the right thing in a statement on social media. Local broadcasters have an obligation to serve the public interest. While this may be an unprecedented decision, it is important for broadcasters to push back on Disney programming that they determine falls short of community. So there you have it. Another fuck around and find out. Yes. Let's see. Do I have a...
Thank you for your patronage.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Here's Jimmy Kimmel on his way out.
No. Wait.
All right. Oh, you have to love it. You have to love. Reality is better than any late night television show anyway. And with that, folks, we have reached the top of the hour, and I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. Darth Idiot said it would be excellent if the Dinosaur stream media would just go the fuck away. I don't disagree, but at the same time, did you see the Netflix football game? Like that thing, I think I may have already given a rant about this, but the football game on Netflix 2 weeks ago, the NFL game, it was like, okay, let's do the same NFL game that every other mainstream network would do, but let's let out of touch Gen Xers try to do it for Gen Zers. Like the way they were inserting all of these large corporate sponsored YouTubers into the NFL game as sort of advertising, product placement. It was so disgusting. And so the idea that now YouTube is becoming the new mainstream media, and this is the corporate sucking sound of what was once grassroots. Oh my God. So yeah, if you don't have to watch it on a mainstream network or on YouTube, watch it on Rumble, folks. Yeah, don't watch Pro Sports Ball. Well, good. Because then you didn't have to see Mr. Beast firing a Chiefs fan through a cannon or destroying, talking about how he used to kick in the NFL and now he does cool videos. And then there was another YouTuber they showed attending the Chargers football practice, and she was trying to like catch a ball and kick a ball. And yeah, it was so awful. It was YouTube trying to do the shitty NFL broadcasting shtick. I wouldn't watch this corny NFL game either, probably. Well, look, I live close enough to Kansas City that, like, it's the culture here. We watch the Chiefs. Sangla says, did they at least get the slingshot guy? I don't know who the slingshot guy is. No, probably not. Those were the three I remembered. The chick who does people's jobs as a shtick, and then destroying and Mr. Beast. Those were the three. Anyway, so that's the show for today, folks. I want to remind everybody, I'm going to be back here this Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, or no, not 6 p.m. Wow. Back to my old shtick. 5 p.m. Central, that's 6 Eastern. That is this week, right? Yes, because I may be taking some time off toward the end of the month, depending on how my Rumble Creator Program numbers go. I'm always asking people for help. I'm definitely trying everything I can to grow my channel, but the watched hours, man, I need to get those watched hours numbers up, and I'm trying my best. So yeah, if you could share this link out off platform, help me get those watched hours up. We are at 1/6 of what I need for the month, and we're over halfway through the month now. So there you go. It is what it is. Oh, Darth Hideous says got 308 followers on Rumble. That's +1 since you got here. Well, thank you. Thank you to anyone who just clicked that follow button. Let me go look. Yeah, LB Weaver, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. And thank you, Billdozer, for the comment. Always appreciate that. Always appreciates the comments. And yeah, anything you can help with the engagement might help the algorithm find me, might help somebody find me. Dr. Pyrostine says all sports are fake now. And LB Weaver says, Dr. Pyrostine, so are the genders. Well, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we are also, so much of our society is fake, right? We're in dead internet time where 90% of the people you're arguing with. I just went on this long rant about how to argue with people on the internet. And you shouldn't really argue with people on the internet because most of them are fake bots or paid accounts or, or even worse in India. All right. So yeah, fake and gay, every stuff. Yeah. Our whole society is fake and gay. All right. So yeah, do all the things. Please click that thumbs up button. That thumbs up button is probably the number one thing you can do to try to help push an algorithm somewhere. The reposts are great. Love the reposts. If you're on YouTube, click the follow, subscribe, whatever. Oh, okay. My phone's dying. Let's see. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the notification bell. That's really important on both of them. On both of YouTube or on Rumble, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going live, because my schedule does move from time to time. I have hobbies that take me out of town. I do stuff on the weekends and throughout the summer. I go on vacations, and when I'm out of town or when I'm doing something, I may go live in the afternoon on a Saturday, like I did last week. I may go live at any time. You never know. That notification bell will help you find out, help you know when I'm live, and you can come into this chat. You can say hello, get a sound effect played, get your toast, and be a part of the conversation. Like everyone in this chat today has been so lovely. I love y'all. Good having you by. I may be more prepared Saturday. You never know. So be ready for that. Come in the chat this Saturday and get all those things. This 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern, as we do another 2 hours of news and infotainment, and politics, debate, philosophy, whatever you want to call it. That's what I do here. I see a couple news stories that bug me. I rant about them, and I may talk about some other news stories that are important. And I invite you to join me every time. And this Monday, I'm not quite sure. I might do an EFAP of the damn it, what's his name? Having a brain fart. Fucking goddamn it! It's on the tip of my tongue. Sam Hyde. I might do an EFAP of the Sam Hyde show from last week, where he talked about the reactions to Charlie Kirk's murder and what it means for greater society. I might do that on Monday on the Rumble exclusive stream here. Every 2 weeks we do the Rumble exclusive, and then on the off weeks we do over on Mild's Gaming channel. I'm currently playing Diablo 4, so you can find me over there on that. Channel links are down in the description. All my social media is down in the description. Feel free to follow me on social media. And yeah, let's go find somebody to raid. Let's see who's live. First off, let's check my feed, see if anyone cool. Looks like Common Censored's live. Real Patriot Party doing a retro sci-fi stream. Handy News is live. Darth Hideous says raid Salty Cracker. I don't raid big people. I want to raid people that are on the same level as me, or like if I raid big people, Salty Cracker's not going to notice that I raided him. I mean, if Salty Cracker, oh wait, Salty Grower? Oh, okay. Because I saw Salty Cracker is live, but Salty Grower, okay. Groker? Oh, okay, Salty Grower. Okay. This is a premium stream, though. All right, so let's do that. I'm gonna follow Darth Hidious's advice here. I'm gonna raid this Strain History Alaskan Thunders. Fuck. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start this raid, folks. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you, and if you do, rub that shit in real good. Have a happy hump day and the rest of your week. Good night.